Hey crew, what's going on? Hey, is it snowing like crazy where you are? Man, it's almost Christmas. I don't mean to date the episode, but it's almost Christmas here in Canada. And the one thing you can count on is in Canada, you're getting snow. At Christmas time, there's going to be snow. We've had a few with none, but it's rare. What I really want to talk to you about tonight is learning from Agile. See, here's the thing. Everything that you read is so binary. Agile or not Agile. Agile or waterfall. Agile versus something else, right? And then, not surprisingly, we get into all these discussions. Everything you read and see becomes almost like a holy war about the state of Agile. Well, if it's not working, what do I do? If this isn't the right answer, what's the right answer? If we're not doing projects this way, how are we going to do them? I mean, look, it's written in the Scrum Guide. It's written in the Agile Guide. We're doing all the things that are written, and it's not working, so we're out of ideas. Here's the thing. I mean, I wasn't there. I don't claim to be an author of the whole thing, but I mean, I'm a user. I'm a player. I've got a say in how it works and how it evolves as much as anyone does. And in my opinion, I think Agile, we're supposed to learn from it. I think we're supposed to do Agile as best as we can. I think we're supposed to take from the objectives of the Agile Manifesto. I think we're supposed to take the lessons learned, the ideals, like putting product in customers' hands more quickly. How can that be wrong? When you think about it, it can't be. Anyway, when you back up over it, I think what we're supposed to be doing with it is evolving it. I think we should be taking what we learn about what works and using that to build a better, stronger Agile, don't you? Shouldn't we be letting it fail? Shouldn't we be doing exactly what we preach when we use Scrum? Let the thing fail. Let it break. Let it suck. I think we should let the wheels come off so we can learn some things. And then say, all right, let's do this differently now. What might work? What can we try? And especially, I think those kinds of failures are going to come up in the fringes, the edges, right? On this project, Scrum wasn't any faster. We struggled to visualize an MVP. We struggled to figure out how to break this thing into increments, how to deliver iteratively, or more importantly and more likely, I would say most of us are struggling with how to get Scrum to work across multiple teams. What do you do if you're building stuff, but everything you build has to be cross-checked by legal or HR? Or if it has to conform or snap into an enterprise architecture, or an enterprise strategy, or another platform or framework? What if you have vendors who don't play ball with agility? So here you have an idealized process, but everyone that you work with, or all of the things that you depend on, don't move in a synchronized fashion. You're going to have problems. So what should we do? Do we give up and call Agile a fraud? Do we sit in the corner and sweat and kind of scratch our heads and pretend that this problem's somehow going to go away on its own? It's not. We got to figure out how to master this. We have to find a way to make this work in the situations that it wasn't designed to work for. That means we're going to have to grow it and expand it. And some of the scaling frameworks that exist today are a great start, but they're not the total answer. For some people, those frameworks are worse. For many, they might be considered anti-agile, and we don't want to use them, we don't want to try them. So, okay, what are we going to do? Well, this is exactly my point. Watch carefully, observe, learn how your teams behave. How they behave when it works, how they behave when it doesn't work. What did we do? What could we do differently? Why doesn't this fit? What is it that we as an organization are doing? Or how are we structured that Agile is somehow not a good fit for? So 20 years ago when they were coming up with this thing in the first place, what problem were they trying to solve? And what's different about the conditions then versus the conditions now? So they can try to come up with the same outcomes that they were dreaming of and visualizing in a modern landscape. So 20 years after the inception of Agile, guess what? There's different technologies. There's different organizational structures. There's different practices. Different regulations. Everything has changed. What were you expecting over 2 decades? So if everything has changed, what we need to do is say, do we still believe in the outcomes? Do we still want excellent quality software in the hands of users sooner in such a way that we can be or remain competitive? I would imagine we do. Do we still value customer feedback, frequent customer feedback, as the best compass of, are we getting this right? Are we delivering what we're meant to? Do we still believe that working software is the best measure of doneness? If we still believe those things, then let's take those principles, let's take the philosophies, let's take the frameworks, and start solving the problem of how do we make this work in 2021 for large-scale organizations that maybe we never could have visualized applying this Agile thing to. But I think we got to stop saying, as a community, let's just throw it away and wait for the next big thing to plop in our laps. You got to understand that Agile was, as an idea, revolutionary for its time. But remember, it took a really long time to grow it and spread it and get it to where it is today. So if it needs some adjustment, that's great. If it needs some modification, if it needs to be adapted and blended and enhanced for the next thing to come along, great. But until someone sits down and does the work of saying, where does this fail? And how can we fix it? Why does it fail? And what are the things we need to do to make it fit better in different organizations, for different people, for different kinds of projects, for different kinds of technology? Until someone puts their hand up and starts doing that job, nothing will change. We're just going to keep iterating on the same principles, arguing over how many stand-ups you do in a week, or who needs to show up for different ceremonies. Now, those things aren't helping us. But as soon as we realize it's not fitting and something needs to change, now you can start designing solutions. You can start thinking about, what can we do differently so that this fits better and works better? Anyway, something to think about on a snowy evening contemplating the 20th anniversary of this thing that we've committed our lives and our careers, our course of study, and in many ways our faith to. I love you guys because you're crazy. Thank you for tuning in. I look forward to next time. Now you can reach me on Twitter at badass_agile, on Instagram at badassagile, and at worldwideweb.badassagile.com. Don't forget to check out fun things like The Forge while you're there, the Badass Agile Listener Lounge. It's all in the show notes. You can get what you need. Until then, I love you guys. Stay badass.